Hey, UDL. So, Lord Nerion assigned me the Squire task of interviewing a few knights who have been in the guild for around 20 years or so. So, throughout the video, you'll hear interviews from Mark, Cassie, Rohanan, and Chroma. And originally it was supposed to be just a recording so you guys listen to audio, but I thought I might try and show you guys the game Atlas. So, for those of you who are looking for a full loop game, you might wish to come join us over here. It's full sandbox. You die, you lose everything, PvP, all kinds of stuff. Crafting, extensive skill trees. Anyway, I hope you enjoy.
Let's go.
Okay. Alright, so, first one. Do you like sushi?
California rolls.
That's not sushi, that's like a salad wrapped in seaweed. It's a seaweed salad.
Edamame.
That's terrible. Alright, it's fine though.
Side note,
What's up?
my mother's from Asia, and I used to eat seaweed as a kid before sushi was cool. This is 30 years ago.
Word.
And I used to get paid $5 at school to eat it.
Why would you get
But I
paid?
liked it.
Oh, okay. I guess because it was disgusting back then, I would assume.
Yeah, everyone didn't. No one knew what it was.
Sounds terrible. A sushi-less world. Alright. Oh, next one. So, when you were a squire and stuff. Oh my god. Yeah, when you were a squire and stuff, were there any memorable squire tasks you can think of?
Couldn't cast a heal spell for a month. Or excuse me, I couldn't cast an offensive spell for a month. Only heals, Lord Canyon.
Pause. Hold on. What game was this for?
Ultima Online.
You couldn't cast any offense?
No offense.
Oh my
Heals
god.
only.
So hold up. So would that be like your favorite or like the worst one handed down to you?
There's definitely worse.
All right. So like, what a favorite one be then?
I don't know, doing something useful. The guilds changed.
Oh,
We
yeah.
used to get punished. We used to hurt people.
We see-
I mean, I'm a great healer now.
I'm
I would say thanks to Canyon.
true. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So some of your favorite pieces of like lore trivia from UDL.
Lord Trivia.
Lore
I
trivia,
mean,
whatever you got.
I enjoy that Sanchez. Can you rephrase the question? Like, what do you mean?
So you know how like UDL has like its written history from like the RP like perspective and stuff?
Sure.
Yeah. Is there like a few favorite bits of that like stand out to you?
I mean, I think it's really neat. Sanchez made UDL has its own language.
Mm.
It's somewhere on the forum somewhere. And when I'm really deep in an MMO, I'll dig it up and write some emotes and some RP with it.
Okay. Alright. So, what's it called? How many people founded the community? Do you know? Like, were you one of the original people, or were you part of that like initial group?
No, I think it was Terror and Groon, and I was like second batch. There's one more group before me from NWN, Neverwinter Nights.
Okay.
I mean, I'm from game 2.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not sure any of the originals are even around, except Terror.
Oh, Terra been around for a minute?
Yeah, Terror. I think he's the only one from the original left.
The original OG. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Might look him up here in a second too, because I know Canyon's on vacation right now.
He's second. I guess I'm third batch.
All right. So, how many squires have you had? And
Oh, God. Dozens.
who's the most memorable with the knowledge you has is being recorded?
I have a tendency. Who's the most? I mean, I was Toombs' mentor. He's no longer UDL. I was Akasha's mentor. He's no longer UDL. It seems I mentor in some crazies, but I have a lot of great squires.
Okay.
Carrick was mine for a while.
Oh yeah. I like Carrick.
Yeah, Braun or Texan and all those fucks.
Braun's
Selena
gonna
may
be
have
an
been mine.
asshole. No, I'm kidding.
Selena may have been mine. I can't remember. Because sometimes I'm GMing or sometimes I'm Warlord.
Yeah. Based on what game's going on.
Yeah, Boom was mine for a while.
Okay.
I mean, I've had a lot of Squires.
So you said you joined in Neverwinter, right?
No, Ultima Online.
Oh, Ultima Online, and then you didn't play Neverwinter. So yeah, so the more like the like top 3 games that UDL had sanctioned that you were a part of that, like were your favorite.
Ultima Online.
Yeah.
Ultima Online.
Oh, we
And
did.
probably Ultima Online.
So we're going 3 times for Ultima. I can get behind that.
Yeah. I mean, there's just no comparison.
Okay.
It's like, you're always chasing that high.
Okay.
Shadowbane was okay.
I mean, if you hop onto Atlas, you might get
okay.
something like it. You never know.
Eh.
I'm just saying, you never know.
Next.
What's it called? What are some of the cultural shifts you've noticed, like in the past several years of being in here? Anything that
Inside
stands
UDL
out?
or gaming?
Honestly, both. I imagine the two are relatively like connected, some degree.
I mean, we have voice chat now. When I first started gaming and playing in UDL, we didn't have voice chat. I think that's one reason that you can't berate slaves. There's this thin line. I mean, there's a thin line between being a dickhead in voice comms and, it's also kind of corny and weird. I get it. It's kind of strange being in voice comms and then trying to roleplay an Undead Lord, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you have to find that mix.
Yeah.
It's odd, No,
I'm hip.
But,
It's RPing like on paper and through type is actually like something I really enjoy. But when it comes to like role playing through comms or on voice, nah.
No, exactly.
That's not me. Dog.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, like role playing through, I will never do it.
But no.
Exactly, and that's what I mean. Like no one really knew who I was. I was just Lord Mark. I was an undead vampire. I'd write all these stories. I've read all the books.
Yeah. Okay. And what's it called? What's something that you would change right now inside UDL if you could? It could be anything that you see as positive, negative, or just add something new. I don't know. But yeah, what's something you would tweak a little bit?
Fuck, man. I don't even know. I mean, I think we need more blood, but at the same time, it's difficult. It's like you want to be elite, but nowadays, see, in Ultima Online, I could fight 10-on-1. And I'm not just telling, everyone's got these old MMO war stories and you've heard it all, blah, blah, blah. Every nerdy kid. Just the game was different. There wasn't YouTube, there wasn't videos, there wasn't a meta.
Yeah, you had to learn how to play, and you try
you
wonky
had to
shit.
figure it all out.
Counter that stuff, so it works.
Exactly. And I mean, I just lived it. I had so much time and just. It's like an alt. I don't know. I wouldn't change anything. I wish that there was. I wish there was a better game for us to play. I guess.
Atlas, I'm trying to tell you, man. It's full PvP. If you mobilize this game right now, we would take over an island. We would have this shit. It is a full loot game. If I die right now, everything on my person gets dropped. Only my skills stay. That's it. And I like purple. My ships are purple. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't lose myself. I got real life. I got to take over.
Hey man, look. I got my binging done over Christmas and New Year's because I was teleworking the whole week, which really meant, I wasn't doing a whole lot of work that week. But I got the heavy stuff out the way. Got the big shit built. Got the base built. Now I can casually do shit.
I cannot casually do anything in my life.
You're on like a 30-minute, or you're a, 2-day bender right now?
Yeah, and then I'm going to turn it off and I don't have to think about it. MMOs, I have to. I'm loading up another game.
I'm telling you, man, you gotta hop on this Atlas with me a little bit. Go right to some people. Oh no, that's the end. Right now,
nice.
For the rest of this thing, we can just talk about how Atlas needs to.
I am killing people.
But you can kill people and
Killing
take their
minions.
stuff. Yeah, minions don't
Yeah,
matter.
I know.
You can go sink someone's ship. Something that took tens of man hours to build. Mm. Well, thank you, Lord Mark.
Of course, bro. Thank you, man.
I appreciate it. All right, and we're live with Lord Cassie.
What up?
What's going on? Are you watching the stream right now?
I'm not. Should I be?
If you want to, if you just want to see what the game is about.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Alright. And I'll actually be doing something, so it's not me just running around.
Okay.
First and
I
most
see you
important question-
sailing around.
Yes.
All right, cool. What up?
Yeah, and you can get
Cassie, loot the chest. Loot one thing from the chest.
Have Jesus fun. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so first thing I ask anyone is, do you like sushi?
Do I like sushi?
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Who doesn't like sushi?
You'd be surprised the number of people who don't like sushi or fish in general, and this boggles my mind.
Yeah, I love sushi, yeah. My wife and I go out for it at least twice a month.
There we go, that was easy. Nice. But yeah, so you've been a knight now for a while, but like, what were some of your more memorable Squire tasks from back in the day?
Oof.
I know.
Back in the day when I was a squire,
Yeah.
let's say, so in UO there was this, God, what were they? They were like pages or books. There was a whole series of them, but they dropped randomly and rarely on mobs, and I had to collect the whole entire series. All right.
Oh no.
Yeah, and it was awful and terrible. I don't remember exactly what it is.
What game was that for, though?
That was for UO,
What was
Ultima
it?
Online.
Okay, Ultima? Okay, yeah, that's... Oh, shit. Shark. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That's a problem. Okay. Yeah,
What's
the
a
shark
problem?
The shark? Oh, I had nothing to fight the shark with. I'm just gonna die from the shark.
Oh.
There goes all my shit. And those two guys I just recruited too, which is kind of sad. So when you die in this game, you just spawn back on wherever you have beds placed. So we got 2 beds in the boat.
Yeah.
So whatever then. I make quick work of that. So okay, yeah, because Mark was talking about Ultima Online as well. He was saying that
Yep.
was the game that he really enjoyed.
Yep. Mark and I are from the.
Yeah.
Mark was before I was, but yeah, we played the same game. Yeah, Mark and I played against each other and together.
Nice.
My favorite Squire task, probably the fact that when you were a Squire in UDL or a recruit or whatever, like they would assign you a job, like
Yeah.
basically like you can't let another knight die. Right, like if you're a Squire, you cannot let any other knight die. You never cast offensive spells.
Okay.
Your job is to heal and bring it and keep everybody alive. And I thought like that kind of teamwork was good.
It's
Paramount.
actually funny that you mentioned that because I think Mark's like one of his Squire tasks was like he couldn't cast any offensive spells there for a time. Like he just had to heal.
Yep.
He literally
Yeah.
that got him good at healing.
Yeah. Yep, you had to heal, but you didn't have to cure because everybody, was expected that everybody had cure pots until like they were getting like chain poison. But like you had to, I don't remember the number. I think it was like 20, but you had to have like 20 cure pots on you, and there was no cooldown on cure pots. So like after that 20, then like people would start curing you. But like on the first ones, people would have like greater, we'd have like greater heal up and just be watching those heal bars.
Okay. All right, and then so you said that was your favorite task. Like, what was one of the more annoying ones?
That other one I mentioned, man.
Oh,
Collecting all that bullshit.
All them books.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Awful.
I got you. So UDL like trivia and stuff. Like, what are just some of your favorite trivia bits in the guild? Yeah, in the guild.
Trivia bits.
Yeah. So like an idea, like, cause Mark was having like he was trying to figure out something for that too. But his, once I kind of described it some more, was like UDL has apparently its own language.
Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So stuff like that, anything like that that you think is just
Trivia bits. Who's the oldest member of UDL?
no idea. Hold on, let me look at this thing. I have it open. Where is it at? Is it? Let's see. They were knighted here, so.
I don't know. If you're on the website, she might not even be on the website.
Or I think it's legendary ancients nominated by the knights, so their legacy will be forever etched in the UDL. But then there's like Lord.
Well, those are
Alfred.
passed on night.
Oh, okay. Then there's like Lord Alfred, who was so founder. So the two founders, Lord Ingen Jaeger and Lord Alfred, are the two founders. It looks like.
Engine Jagger, yeah, and the but the oldest knight that we have is Freya. I think she's like in her 70s. I'm not even kidding you.
Oh, you mean
She's
like
still-
the oldest, like age-wise? Okay, I mean like the. Okay.
Yeah,
I got you.
age-wise, yeah.
Okay.
She's like literally like 70 something. It's ridiculous.
Does she
I think
play
she
any
still
games
plays.
anymore, or no?
She plays UO.
You
I think, yeah, I believe she maintains the tag, the UDL tag in UO. That's another thing.
Awesome.
We very rarely give up our tag in any game, especially when it's unique. We'll always like maintain it or make sure that nobody else has it.
Makes sense. Okay. I guess I kind of like. I was gonna ask about like UDL history too, but I guess that kind of goes into that as well.
Oh, there's plenty of history. I mean, it just really
yeah.
depends. Yeah.
Well, it's like more like your favorite bits of history, but like you said, the oldest person, founders. Is there anything else like just notable you think is like just cool?
History. I don't know. UDL has a ton of history. I think that coming together and overcoming obstacles is the MO for UDL, and I like
saw that
we've
shit firsthand in Conqueror's Blade. I don't think you played that with us, right?
no.
Yeah, but literally we took like 30 or 40 of us and held that against hundreds.
Yep.
It was what turned me on to like wanting to stay with the company past Conqueror's Blade was how the teamwork in that game was just it was solid.
You can literally pick any game that UDL core has played, and you'll have the same result.
Yep.
Any game in the history of UDL.
Yep. And that's why I think for those people who are complaining and looking for a full loot type game, Atlas might be a good solution for them. Because right now it's a little bit later in the season. We could come in late and still wreck face if we decided to.
We'll see.
Yeah. So let's see what else. How many Squires have you had?
One.
Ooh. Who and what about?
It was Nyx.
Okay.
Hmm.
I remember him. I think he played Conqueror's Blade with us for a little bit.
Yep. Actually, I don't know Squires, but the only Squire that I've seriously had is Nyx. Yeah.
Okay. So out of all like the games that UDL's had sanctioned, other than Ultima Online, what's been like your favorite, or like top 2 or 3?
I would say Shadowbane. Well, UO, and then Shadowbane, and then I really liked Legends of Aria, but it went to the shit house. But it was fun playing with that guild, though. It was a full loot game as well. It is. It's still.
For me though, like because people, one thing that's like my real life friends too, they're always looking for like the next game that's gonna be like World of Warcraft or like League of Legends for those who play that shit, where it's gonna last for years. And honestly, they don't make games like that anymore.
Oh, World of Warcraft is what it is. It's not a true blue UDL game.
No. But I'm talking about like people always are like, oh, is this gonna be like a game for longevity? Can we be here for years? And I'm just like, games aren't like that anymore. Like if I like. Even with Conqueror's Blade, we played that game, I think, as a guild for like 3 months. And then the game went to shit. I don't regret a minute played in that game, even though it went to shit. Like, I have fond memories of the whole time I was in there, right up until the end.
Well,
so it's like...
I understand that.
Yeah. So, I don't know. If, like, I get 4 months out of a game and I had a great time with everyone playing, fuck it. It was a great 4 months we had.
My kids are yelling at me, and my wife is for dinner. So let's get this show on the road.
All right, let's see. All right, last 2 questions. Cultural shifts you noticed in the guild, like over the past, however long you've been in it. Just like major changes that you've witnessed.
I would say that Cultural changes.
It could be like the way you guys recruit, the way you guys go about games, anything like that.
Absolutely. I mean, the recruiting process is way more lax than when
I've heard plenty of
us older guys joined.
Yep.
But it's a different dynamic, and if you put any of us, oh god,
Oh, it's fine.
I would say that the roots that I want to that I wish were adhered to more is UDO first. It's guild before greed in all aspects. So, any of the old night membership, like Canyon, Mark, any of those guys, like we would freely and openly share account info, even with like our most precious stuff on it, because we don't care. Like we know beyond anything that
Guild's coming first.
Like Mark just sent me a box of Cubans. Like if Mark, like if Mark showed up on my door in real life, I'd be like, "What's up, buddy?" and come on in. Here's my spare room type thing. I mean, like that's what UDL is. It's a community. It's not a guild in a game. It's a community.
No, that's one of the things that I like about it too. Is just like transcends games. It goes across all things in real life. Because like, I saw Panzer and Pest and them talking about like they're gonna be in Fort Lauderdale. Anyone in the area come down and have a drink or some shit. It's just nice to that kind of stuff.
Yep.
All right, so last question then, because I know you got to go. What's something you might change if you could, like right now in the community? Like positive, negative, it could just be like a whole new thing, modify an existing thing. What you got?
I don't know, man. That's a big question.
If you had to, yes. Nah.
If I could change one thing, I'd get everybody on the same page. That's it.
Okay. I don't know what it means, but I'm gonna leave it at that. All right.
All right, man. All right, man. Yeah, no problem, man.
What's going on, Lord Rohanan, the original OG?
What's happening?
Not much. So, just out of curiosity, because I know you live in Florida, do you like sushi or nah?
Of course.
Okay. It's actually a surprising answer. Yeah. Well, anyway, thinking way back when to what, 1999, 2000? Back when you were a Squire, what were some of your more memorable Squire tasks? Like you had to like break it down to like your absolute favorite and then like your absolute like, yo, what the fuck?
Let's see. The one I hated the most because it involved trade skilling was having to make 100 beers for Psy every day.
What game was this for? Hold up.
This was for EverQuest.
Okay. 100 beers a day. How much farming was that? Like, how long would that take you to do?
It wasn't so bad. It was just, it probably took me about 15, 20 minutes a day.
Alright. It's not terrible. Alright, and then like your favorite, or I guess your most memorable?
Having to barefoot run all the way across the entire lands of Norath, yelling or screaming the miracle song.
The miracle song.
Oh yeah.
What's the miracle song?
You haven't heard? Oh my God, you are. I should make you look it up.
Hold on, let me look. Am I gonna find it on YouTube easily?
No, it should be in the forums. You might not have it. Hold on. I have to find it. Hold on. There you go. I just posted it for you.
Let me go see this thing real quick. The Squire song. Okay.
Yep.
Sung to Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. I gotta look what that is. I have no idea. Who's the leader of the club that's made for you and me? Merkel. Wait, I assume that spell that out. Club, hi there, ho. Merkel's for me, Undead Lords. Oh my lord. Who's verifying that you did this?
That's what screenshots are for.
Oh my. Oh, you were typing it out. Okay.
Yeah, so EverQuest didn't really have voice comms too much then.
Yeah.
So it was basically as I'm running around in a zone from one zone to the next, I had to be singing that, typing that out.
That's hilarious.
However, I made a hotkey for it.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I just have a macro. I just spam that bitch every like 30 seconds. Oh damn, geeks. All right. So what's it called? What's a personal favorite piece of trivia from UDL?
Good question.
Oh.
What do you mean by trivia? What do you like?
So Marx is the one that's the example I've been using this entire time. But like Marx was that UDL like has its own language.
Yeah, the undead language. Yep.
Yeah, so there was that. God, I'm trying to remember what Cassie and I just spoke with Chroma. I'm trying to remember what they said too, but it was things along that line.
I think my favorite thing about it's the whole process going from when you go from a recruit to a squire to a knight. If it's done right, the way it was done early days, it's a good learning lesson, and it was fun for me.
Okay. Yeah, I need to actually spend some more time actually like perusing the forums and stuff, seeing what I have access to. Just looking up random pieces of lore. Because I enjoy that. Lore is what makes games great. That's why WoW survived so long. At least for me anyway. That I played more recently.
Like one of my favorite thing is when I had to, like when I came back from having my coma and getting back into gaming and everything. It was like all the memories of everything was starting to come back. Everything that I went through, everything that we did. They welcomed me back with open arms. So it's like a real good kinship.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I think Chroma was talking. Well, everyone said the same thing, but Chroma was really going into it. Is just the camaraderie you get from just the guild itself. Just how nice it is just to be a part of the community and stuff. Makes the gaming experience just infinitely better.
Yeah, it's not back a long time ago, 2000 to 2002, 2003. It was really, really good. Everybody wasn't so fractured, and everybody was in the same game, playing the same game early on, and then then they had some people playing UO and some people playing EverQuest, and then then when Dark Age of Camelot came out, everybody seemed to be going more towards being in the same game all the time.
Yeah. That's actually one thing that was brought up earlier too. Is it's like both a good thing, just for like how much I guess like we're growing a little bit by it, but it's also like a kind of an annoying thing about how I guess fractured we're kind of becoming.
It seems that way sometimes.
Yeah, because you got right now it's just I think 2 games right now that are sanctioned. We just got WoW and Dark Age, but even then it's still 2 completely different like
But
mindsets of people.
there's still 100 people out there that are
Just not playing their own thing. Or
not gaming at all. They're just everybody's waiting on a certain game. That kind of annoys me at times, but it is what it is. I mean, I'm not really playing much right now. But I got a lot of life going on still.
Yep, I mean, I figure as much. Yeah. So it's called, So, I mean, besides me, Pat, and David, like, how many other squires have you had? Have we been, like, your only squires?
Yep, my only one so far.
Oh, good lord. 2 out of the 3 have failed. Well, David's case, he's busy as shit. Like, I don't even see him for, like, league games anymore. It's, like, once every maybe 2 weeks. Because he's working super hard on trying to get his promotion at the plant manager and shit, so I can't really blame him. Pat, I don't know. Pat's finicky about shit, and he wasn't about it. I was like, oh, well. When you get bored of league and, you know, you need another game to play and you want, like, a good group of people that actually give a shit, I mean, you might as well foster the community. That's why I stuck around. You know, people here got your back. You ain't gotta worry about a whole bunch of dumb shit. What's it called? Yeah. Let's see. So I know you had, well, not by choice, but like you had the hiatus. So like, what have been your favorite games that UDL has had sanctioned?
Well, so I knew a lot of some of the UDL and the original never Ultimate Online back in the day,
Yeah.
and then joined up in EverQuest. So I had a lot of memories from playing in um, in UO, but I think the biggest was for me was EverQuest because there was just so many of us at that time all playing together, and whether Knight, Squire, everybody knew their role, everybody knew what to do. There was no infighting at the time. There was none of that crap.
Is that a problem you see a lot now? Is a whole bunch of like bullshit infighting and stuff?
Let's not get into that.
Let's not get into. Not on here. No, I got you. So then the last two questions kind of tie together, but so what are some of the major culture shifts in the company that you've noticed over the years?
Well, quite honestly, UDL isn't the same as when it was when I was originally in the first time around. There's a lot more clicks and a lot more people doing their own thing than wanting to be with everybody. That's kind of the culture shift that I see. But who am I, you know?
You are not in UDL. Your opinion matters just as much as everybody else's.
Well, some people think that, some people don't, but it is what it is. And I know my role, so my role is if I'm not playing a game, then I shouldn't be putting my own 2 fucking cents into everything.
Hmm?
I'll let those people figure it out.
True. So then to kind of segue off of that, then I guess the last one I can think of is what changes would you make right now if you could?
We just need to get back to what we were. We're a PvP guild, but we're more than that. We're not just a PvP guild like some people think we are. Yes, PvP is a big part of it, but we're so much more than that. And everybody's always talking. I hate it when people talk about, well, I did this and I'm so much better than everybody else. But you know what? It wasn't about it back then. You know, there was always somebody better than another, but never talk down to them because they weren't as good as you. Or and I see that a lot, and it disgusts me. You know, everybody has their own skills, and there's room for anybody who wants to do this, wants to become part of it, and puts forth the effort.
Yeah.
As long as they have some form of skill that's can benefit us, why not? Why do we talk about, well, they shouldn't be a knight because they're not the best PvPer there is? Well, guess what? There's other abilities they have that you don't have.
Yep. The gold standard for me, I always think is Sarather. You know, he's a fucking farming god, but other aspects of the game, while interesting, it's just not his. I won't say not his forte, but like his primary interest is like logistical type stuff, supply management, farming, and all that kind of things. Where some people just they can't stand to do that kind of stuff.
Well, if you don't like to do it, we got to have somebody to do it. So
Exactly, and you need those
why
kind of
knock
people.
that person because that's what they like to do, as long as they're
Exactly.
benefiting us
Right.
as a whole. And what a lot of these guys don't understand that this is what the games are going to now. They're becoming sandboxes where you have to build and you have to make everything from scratch. It's not like you go kill mob A to get item B. It's not that shit anymore.
Yeah. That's literally an example I think I've used in almost every single interview I've done today. Is like they don't make games like they don't like they used to, you know. And people are like, oh, I don't see like the longevity in this game or this, that, and the other. And I'm like, well, at the end of the day, like if it's 4 months only and a good number of UDL comes out and we are all having a good time and shit, well, who fucking cares if it only lasts for 4 months before the game goes to shit or it dies or some stuff? That's 4 months of playing together, enjoying each other's company. Because they like games, you're not gonna find games coming out anymore like World of Warcraft and that kind of shit where it's gonna last for years. You know,
Like I still have my Black Desert account, and
you're playing that
honestly,
right now, aren't you?
well, I'm logged in. I'm not really playing.
Ah,
I usually do set my guy up to auto fish, fucking make a ton of money doing that,
yeah.
and then I buy more gear. So I'm like extremely highly geared, and sometimes I'll go PvP just to go fuck with people.
Mm.
Like last night, I had like a half an hour to kill. I needed to unwind from all the shit that was happening, so I jumped in, went out, flagged up on some people, and just steamrolled them. Yeah, and just because a game doesn't have full loot, that doesn't make it a bad game.
Oh yeah, no, I
Well,
hear a lot of
the
people talk
game
about
is
that. Yeah.
fun. If the game is fun, you can kill people, you can do other things. If the game is fun, who gives a fuck about full loot?
Yeah. I'm just saying again too, y'all really should be checking out Atlas. I feel like this is a UDL game through and through. I legit already have the base set up. I just need people to populate and help collect resources and come out and fight and shit. Go fucking get treasure maps and stuff. I feel like it'd be a great time.
Yeah, I might look into it here soon.
Yep, and let me know too if you want me to get
Whenever I get more than 30 to 45 minutes a night.
Oh yeah, true. But luckily, this kind of game too is like you'll level up whenever you can play and stuff, and all kinds of things will get you to levels. But
Yeah, I don't like playing anything seriously if I can't devote 5-6 hours
ah,
a night at something. I'm just that kind of person. If I can't get 4 to 6
yeah.
hours a day in,
Whew.
then I'm not gonna play it. I'll just sit there and dink around on stupid shit until I get that kind of time again.
Do you foresee that happening at all in the near future?
Yes, probably in the next month or two.
Nice.
That's why I pop in from time to time.
Yeah. I know this game goes through seasons, and it's like we're in like the latter half of the season for this game. But the devs have said they're not planning on doing a wipe anytime soon. So yeah. So right now, like I don't know if you're looking at the stream at all, but like the base is already set up. We already got 2 ships. It's easy to get the little light fast ships and stuff. Supplies are easy to come by, especially where we are. It's like dead where we are. It's quick to sail anywhere else though and fight people. But yeah.
Kind of reminds me of how the interactions and stuff are going, like Conan.
Conan is actually a game that people compare this to a lot. So Conan and Ark were the 2 primary ones in Path of Exiles. It's just people said like Ark was really buggy and glitchy and stuff, and then this game just came out and was just significantly better. They got rid of like a lot of the problems and glitches that it was going on with it. There's some buggy stuff in here, just like a little bit, but for the most part, it's pretty fucking smooth, and it's a beautiful game. It really is. All right, man. I'm gonna go ahead and end this recording.
Okay,
Yes, my name is Chroma.
Ooh. Sir Chrome.
I joined UDL in 2005,
Okay.
2,
You joined or
3.
you were knighted? Because I think you were knighted.
Shit, I don't even know. I don't even know when I joined.
Well, I know you were knighted in 2005. I'm
I was
assuming
definitely
you were...
knighted in 2005.
Yeah. Okay.
So probably 2004. But it was really interesting because I joined when UDL was between games. So at the end of Shadowbane, there were just a few people kicking around on morning. And I'd had a couple guilds on morning, and we ended up falling in with UDL in this giant server war called the Rainbow Wars. And it was
for which game?
in Shadowbane
Oh,
on
okay,
morning.
yeah.
And so I was part of Oh, I am so disappointed.
What happened? Oh!
My Discord client crashed.
Ah. Don't worry, it's been a few minutes of me just fighting this galleon, but I can't see anymore.
Nice.
Oh, shit.
Where was I in my ramble?
We were talking about, not Darkfall, or Shadows of Albion? No, Shadows of something.
City of Heroes?
No. The guild, you merged with another guild, or from another guild.
Oh, man. Man, that's way back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were in Dark Horse Lords. I took over that guild when the leader left.
Okay.
And then I reformed Dark Horse Lords as Method of Destruction and subbed to UDL, which was cool, being in the proper alliance. I got to be around people that were notorious killers and organizers and planners on the server.
Nice. Oh,
The thing-
shit.
The thing that was really cool about UDL in Shadowbane is that there was this, the political underpinnings that took place on the forums, and people would banter and respond to each other and taunt each other all in this role play. I thought it was really cool community to be a part of. People that weren't elite dudes. You know, like their version of shit talking was actually entertaining. It was like intelligent shit talking.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, then, okay, so you came in from over there.
Yeah. So I actually decided to slave to UDL because there was no recruit thing. You were a slave, and then you were a squire.
Yeah, I remember, that's actually one thing that Mark was talking about, because we were talking about, like we both enjoy RP, but we don't like the kind of like we don't like calm RP. Like RP through text and chat and on paper stuff is great, but you know, RPing and like comms and whatnot, I'm not the biggest fan of that.
Yeah, that's. I agree. There's something about role playing in comms that's really awkward. In the
Yeah.
last or 2 nightings ago, when Unfolded and Scipio were knighted in Crowfall, they had to take the oath in comms, and I remember sitting here very casually
The oath
observing
I
this
don't think
knighting
would be a
ceremony.
problem though. Like you even thought that was awkward?
It just I reached a point where it kind of dawned on me that I was a member of an actual real life cult, because there's just something different when you say it out loud.
Yeah.
When you say that shit out loud, it takes it to a whole new level. So, yeah, the chat, the forums, all that kind of stuff, I think is great. There's something about the RP that just adds another layer.
Yeah.
Way better than, hey.
That's actually, you know, Nerion, when you watch this later, Nerion, I'm gonna say right now, one of the Squire tasks I was actually hoping to get from him, since we're not really, you know, playing the same game at the moment, is something along the lines of something along the lines of like developing like a character backstory and such. I feel like that would be a fun time to do that.
You can do that.
Oh,
You don't
can?
have to.
Oh yeah, no.
make
I'm
that
like
a
I already
Squire
have like
task.
things in writing, but like fully fleshing it out, yeah. It
Yeah.
would just give me more
I
motivation.
still.
It's like something you can always think about, but you know.
Well, the thing that really drives that is when you have other people to share that with, and you can read what they've done and see what direction they've taken. And one thing that we don't do anymore, something that's definitely changed within the community, is that we don't write these role play stories anymore. We definitely don't write the way that we used to. It used to be, well, back in my day.
Yeah.
On the forums, somebody would write a story, and another person, if they were involved in it, they would write back, and it would be almost be like adding chapters in a book as different people would contribute and progress the story. And I don't know if we'll ever make it back to that. That might be something that's just lost in time.
No, we find out people who are like that, and you advertise for that particular pool. Because like I know we got a good bit of Squires and stuff. I don't know directly from, but like Conqueror's Blade, that definitely wasn't the kind of game where you know people are RPing heavily. You know, at least that I found anyway. But it's something that could eventually be got back. That's a lot of people right here. Good lord. Sweet. So, getting into these questions though, first thing I always like to ask everyone is, are you a fan of sushi? Chroma? Oh no, more technical
Man.
difficulties.
I don't think my Discord can handle this many tildes. It must be the tilde.
What's a tilde?
It's a character on the keyboard.
Ah.
So yeah. Anyway, Nerion wrote some outstanding high quality elven lore. If you haven't read it, I think that you could learn something from it.
Okay. I have to ask him to link that stuff later on.
Yeah. So as far as
What's up?
Oh, we're still good. Okay. My damn Discord. Okay, so you were asking me about Squire tasks, and we were talking about lore a little bit, and probably one of my favorite Squire tasks was being tasked to write this kind of lore and write a character backstory. I still have it.
Yeah.
I still have a bunch of stuff, not all of it, because a lot of it was left on the forums and that got vaporized, but I still have some of the stuff I wrote. Maybe I'll share it.
Okay.
By far.
Yeah, I'll
By
link to
far.
that, yeah, for sure. So, what's it called? So Squire Task, so like writing the lore though was you said was really enjoyable. It's like what's like a memorable Squire Task you got that was like just cancer to you, like annoying.
Well, I told you that we were slaves
Oh,
when
yeah.
I joined. And as slaves, they wanted to know what our trade skills were, and it was our job to gather. So, as an herbalist and as a priest, nonetheless in World of Warcraft, a notoriously terrible leveling character, I spent a lot of time gathering herbs. And it was basically like, this is the interesting thing about UDL is you get out of it whatever you decide to put into it.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people viewed the slave squire process as just a hurdle to get through, like a rush to get to full member. Just do whatever you have to do. But
No, it's more like building a
a few
relationship.
people
Yeah.
have fun with it, right? So they don't take it too seriously. You see it for what it is, and have no problem doing all of the stuff that you're supposed to do, because it can be fun. It can be a game. It also can break people. Some people just can't handle it. Yeah, so I pretty much gave everything I had to UDL all the time. I used to empty my bags into the guild.
Yeah. And especially where like those kinds of games too, where you know, you might not necessarily get anything back for it like immediately, but no, like you saw like a lot in Conqueror's Blade, like sharing it. Well, you can't really do it a whole lot there, but
Oh yeah,
like in arcade,
it's an
just
interesting
just the
little.
sharing of resources is really what it is, and what it comes down to.
Yeah, it's an interesting little experiment in socialism.
Yeah.
Here.
No. And for a company this large too, like when people actually come in for like the, you know, the what's it called, sanctioned games, yeah, you can really see that come full circle, full light. The camaraderie. You know, you might just spend hours farming and just dump that shit into the communal chest and let people do with it what they will. It's nice.
Yeah. So, what else do you want?
All right, so that's for Squire task. So the herb farming you said was like the most tedious, monotonous, boring thing that you had to do.
Yeah, it was pretty crappy.
I got
My fellow slave Zers got a really good one though. He was a warlock, and he was tasked with obtaining every flight point in the game, and we had a mission to go out and summon these lazy ass knights around to every single flight point so they could have all the flight points. That was kind of.
So it had to be like you and a warlock and somebody else back in the day, or how was it? 3 people back in the day to summon?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Yeah, that's tedious. Because back in the day, walking around in World of Warcraft, oh my goodness. I remember
Oh,
that
yeah.
shit. Not fondly.
Oh yeah, and it wasn't like, oh hey, by the way, you're top level and you've got your epic mount so you can ride everywhere really fast. It was your level 40 ass is walking everywhere.
Yep. Because
And
back then
there
even
was no
the
epic
classic
mount
armor
because
was
you give all your gold to the guild. Yeah.
Yep. Even back
And
then,
then
though,
one
it
day
wasn't
you
like now
see-
where you could easily get 100 gold by the time you're 40. Like back then, even then, shit.
We didn't understand how this shit worked.
Nope.
But it was really cool. I remember seeing Kanian riding through Orgrimmar on his epic mount, funded with guild money.
Mm-hmm.
He was the big boss, so he deserved it. I always thought that was cool.
That's dope. Yeah, I'm hoping still to get Kanye in for the interview for this video, but we'll see if he makes it back in time. Because Nerion gave me this task like 3 weeks ago, and it was like it was longer than that. It was whatever the week was, like right before Christmas.
Man,
Yeah.
you slacking ass maggot.
I am a slacking ass maggot, but at the same time, we've not been playing the same game. It's just been a whole bunch of bullshit. It's just excuses. It's all excuses.
It is, but it's
Yeah.
okay.
So what's it called? What's like your favorite like piece of trivia from UDL? Just anything. Like Mark's was the language.
Oh yeah, I actually have a full copy of all the language, because the stuff on the website got snipped, and you only had like the first 3 letters of the dictionary.
Huh.
One of my favorite lores, man, I'd have to think about it. The first one that comes to mind is it used to be really common, but I don't know if anybody knows anymore. But there was a certain gentleman that wore yellow shoes, and there was a story behind it.
Okay.
So why don't you complete that one and share it with me?
So is it an
Or share-
ongoing story,
share-
or I need to go find the
Share it
story?
with your fellow squires. Oh no, that's long ago.
Okay.
It's all done, and it's pretty common knowledge. But it won't be any fun if I tell you.
All right, hold on. So wait, what was the premise that I'm looking for? I'm just gonna type write it down. Someone was
Just
wearing yellow
two-
shoes. That was it.
2 words: yellow shoes. That's all you need.
Yellow shoes. Look up later. Okay. And then kind of piggybacking off that one, then what's it called? Favorite piece of like UDL history. If that makes any kind of sense. What's it called? Cassie's was kind of like the older members, oldest member. He's kind of going off of that. Mark talked a lot
Well-
about the language and stuff like that too, so it kind of carried over. It's pretty much the same thing though.
Right. Well, I've got one. So there was a guy that we slaved together and squired together. We always knew him as Fail,
Okay.
and his real name was Deathwish, Lord Deathwish. And so we're playing, I think we're in a BG or something, and he goes, "Oh, hold the fuck on," and disappears, right? Like his character
Yeah.
goes inactive. He got up and ran to do something. And he came back and started telling me the story about a guy that was in his front yard, completely belligerent. Well, Fail didn't take no shit. And
Yeah.
at some point, he picked up this mailbox that the guy had kicked over and proceeded to beat the guy with his mailbox.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't say it was a happy story, but
So he was beating a homie with his own mailbox.
with somebody's mailbox, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I miss that guy.
Oh, one thing I mean to ask too is the original founders, Alfric and Ingen. I can't think of the guy's last.
Engine Jaeger.
Jaeger. I, for some reason, just didn't think Jaeger was
It's
it.
okay.
But yeah. But yeah, what happened to them? I actually tried to search for them in Discord. I actually wanted to see if I could get one of them just to come into comms for a little bit, but I'm guessing they're completely gone from the guild.
Oh man, no, I don't think you'll ever see him in Discord. Actually, I think I got to meet Engine at a barbecue one time.
Nice.
I would have to talk to Ray to check my memory because I drank a lot in my 20s.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's as close as it comes. I guess there's some stories floating around out there about some meetups, people fighting and getting thrown in pools and shit.
Yeah. Damn. But yeah, it'd been nice to get one of the founders, but I'm guessing they don't even game anymore. Can't even imagine how old they might be.
I don't know, buddy.
Yeah.
My mentor was Sky, and I think after a decade of doing a lot of the heavy lifting with the website and stuff like that, he just decided that he was all done gaming, and he wrote us a little goodbye. And that's the only one I've ever really seen. I mean, Savante's got some shit going on. I hear from him from time to time, or read about his stuff from time to time, but
Yeah.
mostly people just fade away. Sometimes they fade back.
Yeah. Well, life always gets in the way. I mean, yeah. It'd be nice. Okay. What was it called? How many squires have you had personally?
Six?
Any super
Not that
memorable
many.
moments? For any of them?
Not really, bro. No, I gotta be honest with you.
I got you. I mean, if nothing
Not
like
really.
memorable
It all
happened, yeah.
kind of blends together. No, bro, I don't remember having like any major marathon gaming sessions. Just me and my Squire having father to son talk, talking about what it's like to live in the crypt. You know.
All right. Well, let's see. Out of all like the games, because you've been around for at least 15, almost 20 years now, what are like some of the more memorable games, like top 2, 3 memorable games you've had in with UDL, or your personal
Well,
favorite, I guess?
I've got a. I don't have a personal favorite. I have a couple times that have really stuck in my mind, like raiding enemy cities in Shadowbane. Obviously, having the huge Bane fight. I remember a bunch of game launches. I remember the hype that came with Darkfall. I remember Warhammer Age of Reckoning. That was a lot of fun. That was a fun little launch. I remember some City of Villains. I remember Aeon. Nah,
Some of these games I haven't
Battlegrounds
even
and
heard of
World
too,
of
which is wild.
Warcraft. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. No, I don't really. It was never really about the game for me. It was always about the people and the shit that we could do together. I've suffered through some. Well, we've suffered through some atrocious games, but as long as you have the right people,
Well, that's more what I'm actually talking about too. Is
really
like
manageable.
what games do you have I said like way too many times. Games that you have some of the more fondest memories of with the community, because that's usually, especially most of the kind of games that UDL plays that are sanctioned anyway are games where the community makes or breaks the game. You know, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of memories from WoW. We were in there for like 3 years. Like I said, Warhammer was great until we got to the end game and found out that the castle sieging and all that bullshit was broken. I do have a regret, and I wish that I had the ability to spend more time in Darkfall, because that was shaping up to be a lot of fun. But that was about the time that I fell off. Like, my real life caught up to me. I had to finally go and start my career. I'd completed my apprenticeship. I was a fully qualified journeyman lineman, and I just had to go and do that. And I was gone for a long time.
Yeah.
Crowfall, I have a lot of fun memories in Crowfall too. And it's kind of a one-off because it was never a fully sanctioned game with like the big official UDL launch and the URA and the spreadsheets and all that bullshit. But a lot of the people that I met in Crowfall have stuck around the guild, and I have a lot of good memories in Crowfall too, having big ass server fights, the ugly rivalry that we had with some old Shadowbane guilds that are still over there. Those are good memories too.
Nice. The large scale combat and the rivalries are also some of the things that make the game a lot more fun.
Yeah, except it was kind of like medium scale, maybe at best.
I don't know. Anything
We'll
where
see
you
what
can
happens in the
mobilize
next
guild
6 months.
to go fight, another mobilized guild is pretty enjoyable. Because it's like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck these guys. We're out here fighting for honor and shit instead of just, fighting for some bullshit.
Yeah, standing in circles for points pretty much killed it for me in that game.
Okay, so what's it called? So over the years, like, what are some of the more notable like culture shifts you've seen happen in the guild and stuff?
I mean, obviously now we're a multi-sanctioned guild that's been completely, well, not completely, but moderately restructured to have multiple factions at the same time. And I feel like it's that part is finally starting to come together.
I mean, like, where it's
We
actually
talked
viable
about
to do this?
Yeah, where it's starting to come on. Like, if somebody wants to start up the Conquer Blade faction, or if somebody wants to probably start up the Star Citizen or bring back Crowfall or whatever, it's cool to see the community grow. At the same time, not having one sanctioned game, I feel
kind of fractions.
Feel like we get spread a little bit thin sometimes. And sometimes we don't have a whole lot in common. We don't have a lot of things that hold us together. And you can still have that old UDL flavor, but it's not like it was when the Archlich would tell you to, that he was going to boot you the fuck out of the guild if you didn't come and play a game. So we talked about, so there's that. We talked about the step away from RP, as not being a mandatory thing, which I think we could have a resurgence
This kind
for
of
it.
tie into like the next question too, actually. But like one thing that could be done more is knights. Like I feel like everyone should have like at least a mild, small like paragraph type shit, little backstory of like your character, because in most of the games that backstory probably can carry over. If you want to rewrite some
that's
things
true.
to fit for it. I mean, if it was just someone said, "Hey, this needs to get done," I mean, the shit would happen. Because it's not hard to write like, "Oh, I'm from this background with this going on and that," and that's literally all you need. It's not like it's anything super complex.
Oh yeah, with flowery language and all that.
Yeah, no, just you could literally just sound like a one-liner. I was a poor fucking merchant or some shit, and I don't know.
I think voice chat detracts a lot of that, because somebody said it in my chat.
Yeah, and we were
Days
talking
ago.
about that
Hang
earlier.
on, wait a minute. Yeah. How you aren't necessarily tied to the avatar anymore. You're tied to the person. You're connected to the person, right? Like, I'm Jason. I'm not to a lot of people. I'm Jason. I'm not Chroma anymore.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true, because I think I was telling you earlier, like Mark and I were talking about it. RP over comms isn't enjoyable for most people.
No, it's awkward.
Especially not for me. Yeah, it's just cringy. But like writing shit out, like, cause we play a lot of D&D and stuff. I'm all for that. Getting a little backstory for like that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's not really. I guess it's not even really used anymore in games for the most part. Sadly. But yeah. So it's called. The last question I can think of though is what's something you would change or modify or add or get rid of, that's like a rule or custom or some shit like that, like right now? What's something you would do with that?
Well, you would have to save the bastard question for last, wouldn't you?
Oh, of course. Of course.
There are...
Who's listening unto this point? Because I'm all lying, because we had the disconnects. This particular session is getting to be about, right now we're at 31 minutes. So this will be at the back end, because there was a bunch of combat and stuff too that I want to keep for myself. But yeah, people might not even make it to this point.
Well, there's a lot of organization stuff that's left half done right now, as far as the charter goes. As far as the rights.
Just on Pest's shoulders? Is it the inner council? Because I thought the inner council kind of fell to whoever was like the Archlich in a specific game. So...
It's not the inner council, it's the high council, and I think we have a couple members that are completely inactive, and a couple members that are active, but there ain't a whole lot going on. The other thing is that anytime you try to talk about the charter or adding rules or changing the system, like, there's a huge backlash from the base. There's the old school mentality, which is once you're a knight, you're always a knight. And then you kind of got this new thing now where it's like, well, what have you done lately? I feel like we should honor the people. Like, we stand on the shoulders of giants.
Yeah.
But people need to be active. I want people to be around. I don't want UDL to be a chat channel in Discord, right?
Yeah.
And the only way you can get that is by jumping in and gaming. And it doesn't have to be two giant sanctioned factions anymore. I think that we could do a lot better with having like little one-off games, or like, God forbid, League of Legends night, or Star Citizen Alpha night, or Crowball weekend, or whatever.
Sorry.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes to just get people together.
Yeah.
To have fun, because it's like drinking beer with your buddies. You forgive your buddies a lot when you sit down and drink beer with them every once in a while, but once you quit that and you become strangers, then you start holding grudges.
I don't know. it's like a personality thing for me. One, I don't get angry, and two, I ain't got time for grudges. Like when you're done being petty, let me know and we can pick up this friendship. I had to do that with a few
Yeah.
people. It's like, okay, well, let me know when you're done being a McAsshole, and we'll hop back on this. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, that was awkward. We'll edit that out. Yeah.
No, the whole night thing too, because that's actually something I hear a lot of people talk about. About like, I don't have a good way to word it. I don't have a good phrasing for it, but it is something I hear a lot of people talk about. And yeah, you know, if you go through the whole Squire task process and you get knighted, yeah, you should never be excluded, but activity is needed to maintain if you're going to complain about things going on right now. Like if you are only in chat to shoot down ideas, you're not really helping anything out.
Yeah, and I don't know. A lot of that is being the type of personality that likes to build, and I feel like everybody should be that way. And I understand that not everybody is that way.
Yeah. Huh.
All right, bro. Well, I'm all done with you. I'm gonna dip out now.
Yep, I appreciate it. Thank you.
I can't take no more hard questions.